Yo, welcome to Race Rivals. Adam, how's it going this week? I want to welcome everybody from tuning in.
It's going well, Clint. It's going well. Didn't like getting rained out last Friday. The weather was pretty brutal for Saturday as well, but some racing went down, so that's cool. And if anybody can tell me where Stuart Friesen was last night, because I don't see him in the results from Thunder Mountain, Clint. 29 drivers in the results. He's not one of them.
Did have a busy week. Not sure what that was all about, but he's been running good. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
He won the night before at
not,
Weed Sport, right?
that's what I mean. And Fonda the night before. So, not sure where he was. T Mac was on the scene with him Sunday, so maybe they got kidnapped by a cooler somewhere along the way, but I don't know. We'll find out. What are we going to talk about today? Let's run it down quickly and get everybody involved. First off, I want to send a shout out to guys like Mike from Milwaukee and Randy from Texas. It's damn cool that you guys tune into us jackasses from Ontario and care about our little scene here because it is a damn good thing we have growing. And we're happy to have you guys tuning in from outer space to join us. First guest, Jordan Poirier, is going to join us in just a moment to talk about his run at Osh Weekend with the Outlaws. And Jordan might have been lost in some of the storylines, but he had a good sixth-place finish, I believe it was on the Thursday night. Solid run for Jordan. Always a top runner, multi-time champion in the Knights of the Thunder. So we'll talk about him in a little bit. Of course, the ESS come to Osh Weekend Friday. We'll talk a bit about that. That's different for our guys. It's been a long time since we had a straight Osh Weekend ESS race. And what I mean by that is it used to be Osh Weekend versus ESS. The rules are a bit different now. We'll discuss that with Jordan. So our guys aren't forced to go Friday. So it's not perfect attendance. It's not for points, but I still think they're going to show up. I mean, that's a gamble we're willing to take. But we'll talk to Jordan about that. Viewers' choice. What do you guys want us to talk about? I know everybody always has some questions and subjects in the comments that we miss, Adam. So if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, anything you want us to comment on, feel free to throw it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Doug Leonard's going to join us, talk about the World of Outlaws. I asked Doug to come on. He's got a rare night off. Talk about, as the promoter of Osh Weekend, I know what we saw from it. I want to see what the Outlaws' perspective was of Osh Weekend, what their thought process is, and where do we go from here. NASCAR may be raining out in Quebec this weekend, Chaudière, so they're going to make a decision tomorrow. We'll talk a bit about that. And the ramifications and the benefits, I guess, of raining out early. For example, a lot of tracks kind of threw in the towel last week early, right? Would you say that? The mindset was kind of like, we're all doing nothing this weekend. It seemed like across the board, most tracks knew they were out.
Every dollar matters anymore. It really seems that way. To get to the racetrack costs a lot of money, right? For these NASCAR teams, you're talking at least $5,000 in hotels and fuel just to get there. You haven't paid your way in yet. You haven't done all you've done is gotten your car to Quebec City, and that number might be low.
Yeah. So obviously they have different parameters in when they would cancel race compared to like we would at Osh Weekend. And there's different considerations would take this Friday, knowing guys like Jordan and all the ESS guys are coming from far away. Weather looks good for Friday, as far as I can tell right now. I'm not worried about that. But let's bring Jordan on. Let's talk to Jordan. Jordan has been on the show many times. Jordan, thanks for joining us, buddy. How are things going with you, sir?
It's going pretty good. So we got good weather looking good for this weekend. So hopefully we can get some racing in.
Yeah, Jordan, where are you guys with the ESS? Have you guys had any racing events yet this year?
No, we haven't run. I think we got like
Wow.
four rain out in a row. So I think everybody's looking forward to get one race in. There's only a few of us that has run the 410 swing. So not a lot of the 360 racing been done in New York yet.
Yeah, that's wild. John Tiff was telling me about that when we were talking there at Oshwegan, that it's been a struggle. So, Jordan, talk to us about that. How many racetracks have you been to and not gotten to race? And how many times
Uh,
have you not even left the shop?
we haven't left the shop any of the 4 time because I think early in the season, every promoter knows it that if there's rain in the forecast and if it doesn't look good, there's no point in even trying to go to try the race, especially with ESS. They're bringing a couple of cars. The purse are maybe a little bit more than a normal show. So I think the mentality maybe switch a little bit this year. Every time the cancellation was either the day before or early in the morning, so we never even load up the car and go. So yeah, it's been good. The weather's been shitty all around everywhere. Even in Quebec, I don't think there's been a practice run yet. So hopefully it's the sunny will come back at some point and we can get some racing done.
Yeah, we were very blessed by what we had at Oshweekend. Like the 2 days we had, it was hot, it was nice. You couldn't have asked for two better days. And then we got pounded last week, and thank goodness the weeks were where they were. Jordan, let's talk about your run with the Outlaws at Oshweekend. I believe you capped it off with a sixth. Are you satisfied with how your performance was in the 410 at the 2 days at the Big O?
Yeah, it was a good 3 days, even at the weekend in Ransomville. We went in the weekend thinking we wanted to do all five show, make all of five aiming, and maybe like do 2 or 3 top 10. And we did it right off the box at weekend and Ransomville. So we were pretty happy with that. We were just not happy with the way we time trial. I felt we were super good in both feature, but we just maybe shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit early in the night, time trialing deep, having to come back from the heat race and coming deep in the feature. Starting a little bit maybe up front is maybe more our playing field than those guys, as slick as it was on the Thursday night show. So yeah, it's a bittersweet feeling knowing if we just time trial a little bit more up front, maybe we could do a little bit better, but 6 against those guys, it's pretty hard to ask for better.
You know, Jordan, you're absolutely right. I mean, when the Outlaws started to come up to our place, if someone had said any Canadian was going to finish in the top 10, you'd be laughed out of the room. Why is it different now? How come you can go out there in a 410 race and have a sixth place run against the best in the world?
I think first of all, everybody, you're more close on what engine you got. So I think everybody got probably top-notch equipment. With Ush Weekend, it's hard, even for ESS coming to Ush Weekend. There was a point maybe 10, 12 years ago, it was different. It wasn't as deep as competition, but you got Dylan, Bowman, the Turners now, they run everywhere. They started traveling a little bit more with the pandemic. They seen new track, new configuration. I think it has made those guys way better, and it's difficult. I bet even the Outlaw, I bet they didn't expect us guys to do that well. Dylan leading lap, winning a dash. Thomas did the same the night before. I really don't think they expect. Nobody expect the Northern guy to do something. Didn't never seems to talk about us, but yeah, it felt good to run up front with those guys.
Yes, it should. Oh, Clinton, are you muted?
I am sorry. I had you muted. My end. Sorry, Spence. Jordan, what's the plan for the 410 going forward before we switch gears and talk about some 360 stuff coming up? Is that the 410 car you have? Are you swapping the motor in and out? Do you have anything else on the calendar? Where do you sit with your 410 deal?
I don't know. I don't know yet. The 410 just sits right there, so it's ready to go. Whenever we got a weekend off, maybe we'll try to go somewhere and try something. As of now, there's nothing planning. I think our next race will be Wheat Sport. That's for sure. But if we got a weekend that looks nice for the weather in the 410, it's an easy task to change the 360 to the 410 now. We're getting used to it. So maybe we'll switch and go run somewhere else.
Has the ESS ever raced at Brighton? I should probably know this.
No, it's the first time. I don't think anybody else than SOS had run before the pandemic, and Knights of Thunder had been there. I think it has made the Rinaldi maybe wants to see the SS go there, so it's exciting to go there. It's not our best track, but I'm excited to see what us guys that has run a little bit more on those track than the US guys can do short little bouldering like that.
Jordan, so one of the things the viewers have asked us to talk about is the rule differences. So, I was talking to Steve Lyons about this day. When we make the schedule, we book the ESS, and the thought process I have is if your guys are forced to come there on a points event, which isn't really bad for us. I mean, we have a nice place, right? But, getting you guys to come there for a points event, all your racers come out. Same thing with the GLSS from Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. Get all them guys to come up here for a points race. It builds on the nationals because you guys get to build a bit of a notebook. You've seen the place. You know what it's like. You know what the process is like, whether you're coming from Quebec or crossing the border. So I put the two races on because it used to be a lot closer in the rules. But then we realized as we get to the driver's meeting, all my guys are on me. You guys have dish wings where we have flat wings, so that's a big advantage. You guys are already going to be on the new tire where we are still on the old tire, which is a lot softer and 2 inches wider. And you guys have cockpit adjustments. So this race is now on the Schweeken side. We've made it non-points, non-perfect attendance. If all our guys choose to stay home, it could simply be an ESS race. Now, I don't feel that's an issue, and I feel like you said, the Turners, the Westbrooks, they're all coming on Friday. I'm not worried about that at all. We're gonna have 32 to 34 cars. I don't doubt that one bit. So, are those differences that big of a difference? Maybe at Ashweekend, maybe at Brighton. How are those things that, I guess I don't want to say the most political way for me to put it was all these things that the teams pointed out could be a big advantage to the ESS. Do you think they're going to be a big advantage?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure all those guys pretty much still have a dish wing. I think the wing is the only big difference in all of that. But it was the same thing 6-7 years ago when the ESS was coming. It was coming on the dish wing rules, and people were still running on the flat wing and maybe beat us sometimes. But I really don't think if the track gets fast, the flat wing is better. So it always depends on how the track end up being. I would have wished to go more on the flat wing rule myself, be a preparation for the national. So it's like a false notebook that we build for the national at the end of the year that maybe we'll have to throw away because the wing changed a lot. Other than that, the tire, I don't think it's an advantage because nobody has run yet on it. So it's the same thing for in between for us than those guys. It'll be a new thing for everybody going on Friday. We had the chance to run like 15 lap of practice on it. I don't think it makes much of a difference. And for the adjuster, myself, I don't run it because I mess with it under yellow, and I don't think I help myself. So if those guys want to try and mess themselves, it'll be an advantage for us. So yeah, I don't think it'll be same as national. It'll be the same guy up front. You'll just see new faces. If ESS will bring some new guys that maybe don't travel as much for the national and everything, and it'll be a fun race, racing against Westbrook, Turner, and all those guys, trying to beat them on their playing ring.
Yeah, no, it should be a great show. Talk a little bit more about that, though, Jordan. Onboard adjustments. So that means you can only adjust shocks, can you not?
Yeah,
Obviously, the wing.
Yeah, you can adjust chalk on 4 corners. So now a lot of chalk got either compression and rebound adjustable. So you could have like 8 roll into your cockpit. But under yellow, you got to think about all that. Did you turn there? Oh, I prefer concentrating myself at driving instead of playing with those and live a little bit with what I gave myself on the setup. But yeah, it's a cool thing to have, that's for sure. But I don't think it's makes that much of a difference.
That's interesting. So it's almost like it's overwhelming to have it.
Yeah, I try it. I try it a lot because when Slade came out with this new double adjustable right rear shock, I liked it a lot. The only issue I got right now is the knob. So if I goes one way, I need three clicks until it turns one time. But if I go back on the other way, I need 3 clicks until it goes back to one time. But when you're in the car, you don't remember what you did in the last yellow. Did you turn right? Did you turn left? I don't want to think about that. I want to concentrate myself where I want to go on the restart or where whoever was running. So yeah, for me personally, that's not a good thing to have.
Jordan, viewer question: what makes more downforce doors faster, a dish wing or a flat wing? When and where do you prefer either style?
I think the flat wing is faster on long track, so it makes it's less draggy, but it makes less downforce. So probably when a short bull ring, you'll want the dish wing with the big wicker, and when that Ashwegan is faster in the night, probably the flat wing is better. That's for sure. Maybe at the end of the night you want the dish. I can remember like 2 3 years ago, the first national back. I think I was starting second, and I was the only one running the dish without any wicker bill. So it's it's just a preference of what it does. It changed a little bit the way the left rear sit on into the racetrack. And when we changed the left rear tire, I think 2 years ago, the D12A instead of the RD12, that messed up more than the wing. So whoever is more comfortable with whoever. At first, we weren't running a lot of flat wing, so I didn't like it a lot. But running more and more fourth and stuff, I think I've been more comfortable under the flat wing. So even Friday, I got the two wings sitting there, and I don't even know which one I'll put on the car. So it's a guessing game for everybody.
Well, Jordan, thanks for coming to hang out with us, man. We look forward to watching your race this weekend, and look forward to seeing you get a couple of races in without Mother Nature getting involved.
Yeah, hopefully we can get finally a win at this weekend. We've been so close in the last few years, so hopefully we can go there with ESS and start our season right up.
Wait a
so
second.
Jordan, you've never won at Ashwegan? That's what I was just
No.
going to ask.
Never.
Okay.
Okay, wow. That's fascinating. I didn't think there was a track you hadn't won at, because watching you in the Knights of Thunder, you were so dominant, but the Knights of Thunder never ran Ashwegan.
Exactly. No, we've been close. I think we run top 5 in the last 3 national, but we just cannot get one win.
Jordan, okay, I got a couple quick questions for you. At Ashwegan, do you leave and drive through Toronto at night, or are you going to wait till the morning?
Oh, you crossed before. You don't want to cross Toronto at day. It's the worst nightmare you can go through.
Good plan. Pass that on to your buddies. Secondly, you're English. Other than talking to race guys like us, how often you speak in English? And you've come a long way with it. Is it difficult for you, or how often you happen to use it?
Never. I only use it at the racetrack. So I got nobody around me that's speaking English. I can remember, like, at first when I went to the Knights of Thunder, it was a difficult thing because we had lost Kevin that went back to work for Glenn. So I wasn't really talking in English to nobody, and I was throwing me back in it. But now I feel like I'm more used to it. So since we swapped to Parker engine, I talk to him maybe once a week, try to keep up with it, and try to talk to Slade or anybody in English. So I think it's gotten good.
You've been amazing.
Oh, I would say.
Definitely. All right, thanks, Jordan. We'll see you Friday. Empire Super Sprints at Osh Week, and Jordan's going to try and take the point lead. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Man, we need more guys like Jordan in this sport. Gentleman, performer, knows how to get it done, bilingual. He checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Great ambassador for the sport and ESS.
We've got a really good crop right now of drivers who are good on the microphone, good with their promotion, competitive, funded, and that matters, unfortunately. But that's the recipe. That's what you got to put together.
I see Ricky Crandall's here. Ricky, we nearly lost Ricky 2 days ago. Adam, Ricky was at the mall with his family, fell ill, went home, called an ambulance, and ended up with a heart attack and ended in the hospital. Got a pit stop, out of the hospital yesterday or today, I think, right, Ricky? So Ricky is one of the best dudes we got at Osh Weekend, and I'm not just saying that because you're sick, because I'd bust your balls too if I could, but Ricky's one of those guys who does anything, anytime. From day one since I met Rick, he's been awesome. So Ricky, slow down, eat better, get smart, kid. We need you around, and we got a good group of support staff, and Ricky's one of those guys, and one of the guys I would call on. So Ricky, you're too young to be having these issues. How old would you think Ricky is? That's a good guessing game. You know, Ricky.
Yeah. That doesn't like. I would guess.
Okay, let me ask two questions. How old? Would you guess if you just had to guess his age by looks, and then you kind of know he's older than he looks, so that's gonna skew your guess. But
so I would guess he was 42 years old
by his looks, or by what you know.
No, by looking at him. Maybe I'd guess younger than that if I didn't know he just had a heart attack. He's not 50, is he?
No. He's going to chime in here and tell us how old he is in a minute, but he's in his 40s. I would have said early 30s. Knowing Ricky.
Right. It skews things because you just said he had a heart attack. But yeah, he's a young-looking dude.
43. All right. And that's pretty good because Adam will tell you he can't gauge age for shit. You don't know if someone's 62 or 22, do you? That's Adam's. Let's bring Doug Leonard on here. I need to know what the opposite of a superpower is, because that's Adam's whatever opposite of a superpower is. His superpower is he doesn't know. Yeah,
he's got sissy power.
He doesn't know what's what. Doug, welcome to the show, buddy. I brought you back because we didn't have anybody else, and I knew you'd come around.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, we just, we still have a bit of buzz going last week and in our world about Outlaws and how great those 2 days were. You helped pull it all together on the backside. Just a bit of a, rundown from your side. State of the Union's address for the Outlaws on Derry Pins about Osh Weekend and maybe what the thought process is going forward.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of hesitation from the teams going in. Just there was the fear of the unknown and the fear of crossing the border. And 15 platinum teams blew through the border with no issues. Our 2 trailers blew through with no issues. I mean, our merchandise truck went through with nothing, and I mean, all their staff got through. And once they got to the facility and parked and got a chance to walk around, I mean, I woke up on race day on the Wednesday and just saw all the social media posts just from the drivers alone. That took it upon themselves to just take video of the facility and of the racetrack, and that it was pretty impressive. We knew that we were going into 2 great days, and Mother Nature played on our side, and we knocked out 2 out of the ballpark, and with huge rave reviews. And I mean, the buzz was still there this weekend, racing some of the teams coming up. I mean, even Zach Hampton went to go race High Limit at Port Royal, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch in the redraw. They said his question was, where are some of the coolest places you've been? And he actually said last week in Canada. So it's still hitting home for them.
No, and that's so cool. It's got to be. Was it a proud moment for you, Doug, to kind of, you made that step up, you got invited to the big show, and then to bring the big show back home, it had to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, when I woke up, like I said on Wednesday, and I got a message from Glenn Stiers, and he says, "Hey, guess what? You're coming to your home." I mean, you knew it. It kind of got me tickled inside. So, I mean, walking in with huge smiles, and certainly walking in with my daughter. I mean, I had the privilege of having some of the staff stay at my house after Thursday, and they said, you can wipe the smile off your face any moment now. I mean, I think I smiled for 4 days after the races. So,
no, you guys are in a busy part of the season, Doug. Even this past weekend was a bit crazy. What's some of the events you're looking forward to, or what's on your calendar?
Yeah, I mean, I literally landed here today at 1:30 and drove home, got here at 3:30. Harper was sitting in the backyard waiting for me because she forgot her key. So I walked in, told her to get in the car. We went and bought soccer cleats, and then I realized, holy snot, I'm leaving on Thursday again and gone for 10 days. So heading out to Fargo, North Dakota for 2 races here to get to work with the SLS promotion team with Scott Boyd. So they're great to work with. And then we're going to get really into the meat of the season. And once we get back from that break, we get into kind of the big money where we go into the Kings Royal and roll right into the Knoxville Nationals. And actually before that, we got the High Bank Nationals at Huset's, which is our biggest paying race at $250,000. So we're going to get busy here.
Doug, do you watch much other sprint car racing?
I do. I mean, I certainly like to check in what happens at home. I mean, I got a big critic who updates me every week. She drives around in the Nitro 54 push truck and tells me how horrible job Dave did, and then I had to watch and see what she's talking about. So no, yeah. And honestly, I mean, we do follow it. I mean, all our staff are huge race fans and are huge sprint car fans. So when we get some downtime, and not that we have much of it, we certainly like to watch some of the local stuff going on. Actually, on Sunday we're going to go to Houston's and just to be fans.
Nice.
Once we race
So
on Friday and Saturday.
Here's why
Go
I
ahead.
ask. I've been watching a little bit of sprint car racing. Are we junking a lot of cars in heat races and hot laps lately? Like, I've watched different sanctions. It seems there's been a lot of racing from Pennsylvania. I cannot believe the cars that are coming off in a basket.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we are. I mean, it's just the fields are so tough right now. I mean, the competition's so tough. You can't really of our 15 drivers, any one of those 15 platinum teams can win a race on a given night. And then you sprinkle in some of the competing teams of high limit. We get into these big paying events where everyone's all together. It could be a matter of 1 out of 30 teams that could win that race. So the competition level there, if you don't qualify well, you're marred deep into your heat race, and you got to push that envelope to try to get in that qualifying position, and that's where those accidents happen.
Doug, can you confirm the rumor that the high limit folks were at Oshweekon on the Thursday?
I can confirm that some of their staff members were there. Yes.
Yeah, I heard that too. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they were certainly close. They were close at Ransomville that they were going to race on that Friday, and mean with the presence of G-Force and getting the opportunity to see it all over YouTube for free, everyone's checked out the facility. Everyone knows what it's about, and they wanted to actually put eyes on it themselves. So I believe 4 of their staff members came up just as a invitation. They're actually former employees of World Racing Group, so they have a lot of friends that are still with us. And they said, "Hey, we want to check it out." So over they came.
Adam, I got a question for you, Doug. Can you just clarify, Doug, what is the rule? Like, we saw David Gravel run the Weikert Memorial, at Port Royal on the weekend. Is it 4 races they're allowed to dabble outside the Outlaws? What? Because a lot of people were asking, and I'm not trying to put you in a bad spot. I know we obviously know you're the Outlaw guy, but any clarity for our fans that you can clarify? I heard it was 4. Do you know if the high limit has a deal, and how's that whole thing work?
Yeah, I mean, for our platinum teams, it's 4. We'll certainly look at certain circumstances where we'll possibly forgive it or forego that pass if it's a guy's home track or something like that. But or in a case like we had Cornwall rained out, we certainly don't want to take money away from these drivers and all stuff, so we'll give them that opportunity. But if it's within a certain parameter and it's outside of our area, then yeah, they're allowed a maximum of 4. So they typically will use 2 at Eldora when we're there for the King's Royal. As High Limit has 2 races before, and then they'll race. So there's 2 already used up. A couple of them used up the one at Port Royal and all that stuff. So there'll be 3, and then there'll be 1 more in there if they want.
So, Doug, 10 days in a row. So your next road trip is 10 days long. How many races do you have in those 10 days?
In those 10 days, we're going to race. So we'll race Friday, Saturday. We race Wednesday, and then we race Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we got 5 of those 10 days. We've got 5 races in there. So Adam, I'll give you my address. I do need someone to come over and mow my lawn while I'm
Happy to do it. I'll be over there. I'll be hanging out in the backyard too because I don't have a key.
Perfect.
Yeah, if you asked him to take Harper for ice cream, that would get done before you got your lawn cut. Doug, another cool thing that happened, the folks from Knoxville, Spencer, pull up the apparatus for the Case IH. We actually have a naming contest going on for it right now, so these guys can't call it what they've been calling it, but some of the names. So our skid plate, our apparatus, our what they've been calling it on that we put on the front of the Case IH tractor. Show the other one, Spencer. It shows it off better. Knoxville started calling you, Doug, and said, hey, we want to figure out what are the dimensions of this. You actually went to Oshweekon to try and take some pictures. I sent them these pictures this week. So it's basically a skid plate that goes on the forks at the front of our tractor. It's been instrumental in cleaning up these wrecks a lot quicker. So we have a naming contest right now. Go to Oshweekon Speedway Facebook and social media pages. Give us your suggestion. And if if yours is chosen.
I'll have to come up with something. I want to put. Is there any money on it? What do we win?
Free passes to Oshweekon for the year. So you already kind of won that, but no.
It's going to be like Tractor McTractor Face or something that wins.
Yeah, no,
No.
our officials absolutely love it. Like we go to some facilities and they've got top notch towing machinery and machinery that can clean up accidents and help us out. And other places don't run sprint cars all the time, so it's a little bit of struggle once in a while. We need to certainly help them out. That thing came out and rolled in there, and I mean Jerry Myers and Chad Stowe were like, "Wow, I got to get out of the way." As the thing just scooped it up and took off. Then they came back to the pit area. They're like, we need that everywhere. And it was. I mean, it was Friday morning. I woke up and I got a text message from John McCoy, who was the race director at Knoxville. He's like, get me pictures. I'm like, all right. So, I mean, they tried to reach out to a bunch of people, and I'm like, oh, I'm only 10 minutes down the road. I had to return something to the racetrack anyway. So I went and found it sitting in the infield and took a half a dozen pictures and fired it off to him. So don't be surprised. You might see it during the Knoxville National, something similar.
You know, Doug,
That's cool.
I don't know if you can answer this or not, but how much did that event a couple of weeks ago put Ohsweken on the map? Like we're on the inside, so you live it. You don't see it from the outside, but it seems to me that all that absence, like you say, there's a lot of footage that comes from our place that people can choose to watch, but we're not running 410s. How much did that elevate, do you think, Ohsweken?
Oh, I mean, I think it took you guys from here and went even higher. I mean, you were already up here, so I mean, how much higher could you go? But now you're into the U.S. brand even higher and most stuff, and you're the sprint car capital of Canada. I mean, you already were, but now you just went even higher. I mean, even Chaz showed up. I mean, that's a big deal when Chaz shows up to the event. But no, I mean, like I said, you had members from High Limit coming over to check out the facility. Just every post that I saw on social media was all positive. There was nothing negative to be said.
You know, the one thing I want to add to that, so Tina came to our party, right? And T-Mac, and they did a great job hosting all the teams. So a bunch of them came down there, stayed out real late. David Gravel ended up DJing, the Hud Childs crew, all those guys were down there. So we showed them some good Canadian hospitality, fed them good, got them some beer. It was a good time. In fact, I even bought your beer, and I'm not even going to charge you for the 2 cases that you're supposed to e-transfer me just as a job well done. Yeah, but I'll buy the beer for you on that night. And how about a bit of credit there? You come to me for beer at like 7 o'clock, and I made it happen by 8 o'clock. You had 2 cases of beer in the fridge, chilling, by the way, I will add. So I take care of both you fuckers. Anyways,
to add to that, it was actually mentioned this weekend by one of our officials saying, you mean, Doug just made a phone call, and I don't know who he called, but that guy made it happen. He had 2 big cases of beer. I'm like, well, that guy's name is Clinton Geoffrey. So to just add how good the beer is and how much it is appreciated by the teams, I had a little text message thing going with Giovanni Selzy this week because him and I had a little bit of a disagreement last year when we went into Attica, and I told him he had to stay out of the tower. He said, just an FYI, he goes, that Molson stuff in Canada is badass. So even Gio liked it.
Yeah, but you guys ordered Canadian beer, I think. Your order was it. Even Zigger's like, what, he wants American beer? We're in Canada, man. So anyways, beyond the beer, Tina was down there with us, and it was Ethan from the tech crew was down there, and every person, one after another, was just telling us how amazing time they were having. And I kept pulling Tina over and say, Tina, you got to listen. And I got to talk to her the next day, and I said, Tina, you don't realize, like, and maybe it's just me overselling it, but I feel we are in the top, like you said, we're in the top echelon conversation now. Like Knoxville, Eldora, Ohsweken, you know, those kind of places, Williams Grove, we are in the discussion now for a 360 track that doesn't run 410s weekly, which is crazy to think we're in that top handful already for a place they built in their backyard 20 years ago. You know,
100%. So I mean, the hospitality, the facility itself. I keep talking about my officials. All they did was rave about how well they were treated by the Ohsweken Speedway staff. I mean, you were in the staff meeting. I jokingly went in and thanked everyone for what they've done. And I said, I can't believe what my officials are saying, talking so nicely about you guys, because you guys have been a bunch of pricks when I worked with you. But everyone determined that I was the common denominator. But yeah, no, it was everybody from the top down. Glenn, Tina, yourselves. I mean, it's just, you guys knocked it out of the park.
Before we let him go, Adam, there's one thing he left out of that talk about the drivers' meeting.
No, you can say it. I cried. I did cry.
Doug left in tears. He did Harper tell you I paid her $20?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was.
It was a really 2 good days. I shook a bunch of hands, said hi to a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in a long time, and people that I didn't even know, but they knew me. And I went into the Oswego Speedway staff meeting and just thanked everyone for their hospitality and while I'm away in my presence. I mean that everyone takes care of Harper. She looked at me and I looked at her, and it was over. I started to well up and I had to walk away.
You fought it. That was you shouldn't have fought it, because
I
once you fought it for a second and then released, and then you were
Yeah.
gone. Like, it
I
happens.
was
It was beautiful.
yeah.
Did she tell you
I
I
was gonna
paid her
do-
$20?
Yeah, he did. He came up and showed me the $20 that she's like, you she's like, Clint gave me $20. I'm like, why? Because I made you cry. Well, that's bad.
That's right.
Chad Stowe came up because he was right there with us, our safety director, and he looked at me. He's like, "You just left me high and dry," and I'm like, "Dude, I had already embarrassed myself."
No one. The funny thing is, everybody thought it was so endearing, except for your daughter. She had this look on her face. What's your problem?
That was good. Thanks, Dougie, for joining us. We'll check in with you quite a bit throughout the summer. Oh, quick mention. Brock Leonard looks like it's going to be the July 4th weekend at Oswego because you're going to be home. We're going to throw it in there. We're going to work on the laps, probably get down to 30, but we're going to honor your dad properly. I'm glad to be in town. Let's make that work. So that's just news coming out here. We haven't told the teams yet, but the Friday of July 4th weekend, we're going to have the Brock Leonard Memorial. Doug will be in town, and he'll get to say some words and wave some flags and yell at us like old times. It'd be great if you'd bitch in everybody's ear, just to make it good.
I'll bring my radio home with me, and that they won't even know.
All right, get out of here. Thanks, Dougie.
Thanks, guys.
To answer the question, yeah, World of Outlaws are coming back. We're, that was too good of 2 good days to not figure it out. Just so we know, Adam, we have petitioned for 2 days in July and August. That was no secret. We took it this year to try and get to the summer. I know a lot of people in the fold have already had their phones out looking at dates and schedules to see where they could fit us into what typically is heritage dates, right? They have the same places year after year, so it's tough to move things around to fit somebody new into the fold, but we're going to do our best to work it out. The beauty of what we have is we're looking for midweek shows instead of Friday, Saturdays. So there's a lot more availability there than there is at other times. Well, man, we flew through the first 40 minutes. I can't believe that. Let's jump in and talk to Ray Moro. Ray Moro is going to join us. Ray from Delaware Speedway. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about Delaware's big super modified race coming up next Friday. Even though we're running Osh Weekend, we wish them the best. Super Modified's coming back to Delaware. If you're a Super Modified fan, make sure you check that out. Friday, June 6th, I believe it is. Ray, welcome to the program. You know, we got to the Sunset opener. I'm in the infield. I didn't even get to see you. I know you were there. Adam showed up late. We didn't see the car. What happened to your car at the Sunset opener for the APC Late Model Series?
Yeah, I wish we could have saw you guys at some point through the night, but we went out for practice, warmed the car up. Everything seemed good, and then went out for practice. And as soon as I got to the throttle in practice, something it just felt like the motor was laying down. We never really got close to the chip, and then the last lap coming to the checker, I've never had a motor tighten up, but I think that's what it was, because that's the sensation I had. The RPM started going down, and it just felt like it was all just slowing down. So shut it down, and that was the end of our day, we thought. And then Taylor Holdaway had a red seal. We went and picked it up. Colton Everham, my spotter, he went and picked it up with my sister, and they got the motor back, and the crew worked hard at it. We got the motor in. We were ready to go, and then we were filling it up with water, and the water pump we had didn't work with the other engine. The one that we blew up had a plug in it underneath the water pump, and the new one didn't. So really sucks. A lot of hard work by our crew and plenty of other people. I really appreciate it. I know the Holdaways were down. I talked to the Shaws. They gave us some parts. Sheridan's, Stotties were around helping us. I mean, it was awesome to see.
Now, will you run the rest of the series? Are you committed to running the deal, or does this change your plans at all?
No, we're running the whole deal. We're supposed to be getting our motor here, I think early next week, and then get it in for Flamborough. But yeah, our plan is still to run the whole deal. Go out and chase some wins, and the points deal is pretty tough now. It's an uphill battle, but we'll just go out for race wins, and wherever we end up, we end up.
I think if there's ever a year that it's possible, this may be the year, because you're going to have some strong cars that may dabble in and out, a la, a Lapsevich or a Steckley here or there to jump in and jump out. So they could easily steal some of these wins and keep the points away from the other regulars. We saw great runs by a guy like Blair Wickett last year. He could have clawed his way out if it wasn't for Steckley hanging around. I think it still is. How do you change your mindset now, Ray? Because obviously you go in, you're last in points. You have the biggest hill to climb right now, but you do have a good supportive crew. How do you, is it all in, all wins now? Is that how you get through this?
Yeah, I think so. That was our goal. Every race was to go there, and the mindset to go and win. But there's really no points racing now, right? so it's basically just go and try and win every race. That's my mindset, and the crew's mindset too. So gonna be super exciting. We'll see what how we are at Flamborough when we unload. But we tested that Sunset before the race, and we were really happy. So we were a lot better than last year when we were there. So hoping that carries on through the year here, that we're better everywhere.
Ray, now you run a completely different setup for APC than you do for Delaware, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So this didn't affect any. Did you watch the race at Sunset? Did you stick around and watch?
Yeah. I sat with my crew there for a little bit and then headed down to the beer tent.
What did you think of the action? What did you think of the racing? I know it sucks to be on the other side of the fence, but
yeah, it wasn't fun. I would have rather been out on the racetrack with them, but I thought it was really good. The Shaw made a charge there at the end. That was really exciting, and the battle from, I think it was 5th to 9th, somewhere in there. Man, oh man, what a race! I know it was probably really frustrating, because I know it's really frustrating when you get side by side at Sunset and you just sit there. But it put on a heck of a show for the fans.
Let's talk about your Delaware package. How are you feeling about that going into this season?
Yeah, we started off a couple weeks ago, and we had a perfect night. So it was really good. Still got some work to do on it. We just edged out Kyle there for the win, but just still need to keep working on it. We made some more changes for this week, and we'll see. I think I saw that Kyle's coming back this Friday. We got double features, so it'll be a test to see if we can hold him off again. But I'm pretty confident. Me and my dad, we're doing the setup stuff on it, and I'm pretty confident with the changes we made. We'll see how it is when we get there. I know we've had a lot of rain and not too many cars on it, so probably not going to be a whole lot of rubber on the track.
No, that's a good point. I want to jump back to APC a little bit, just because how nice is it going to be this year that you've got a notebook on all the tracks that we're going to?
Yeah, it sure makes things a lot easier. I know our last year going to the tracks for the first time, it was we had help from some guys, but it was kind of a shot in the dark, right? You don't really know. I'm new to the track, so I'm trying to figure out in our hour practice I think we had. You usually get like 40 laps. You got to try and figure out the track, figure out what you need in the car, and the crew's got to figure out how to make things work too. So it was pretty tough last year, but having a notebook, it makes things a lot easier. You can look back and say, yeah, that worked, that didn't. Going to from race to race, right? So it'll make things a little easier, I think.
What track outside Delaware are you feeling the best at?
Probably Sauble. That track was super fun. We had our best APC finish last year there, and looking forward to getting back.
You know what's funny? I think if you ask any racer that's raced all the tracks in Ontario, what track are you most comfortable on? I think most of them would say Sauble Speedway. I know it was the case for me as well. When you race a different, it can bite you. Like, it can really bite you, but you don't think of that when you're driving. Like Peterborough, you're thinking of that all the time. Flamborough all the time. But Sauble's a place you can just chill and focus on racing because there's nothing that jumps out at you.
Yeah, I like Sauble a lot. That's probably one of my favorite tracks to race at. And it helps that we ran pretty good there. So hopefully, like I said, build on that from last year with our notebook and try and get one spot better.
Ray, what event are you looking forward to the most this upcoming season?
So as much as I say Sauble I want to race at, the Great Canadian 300 is just one. It's our biggest race, right? At Delaware, my home track for the last 5-6 years now. So that's one I'm really looking forward to. I like the longer races. Hopefully it's a little warmer this year than last year. I know the fans and all the crews were in for it last year. It was really cold. So that race I'm really looking forward to. Like I said, long distances are just something different for us.
Well, we look forward to seeing you smile again at the racetrack. So keep the engine in one piece under the hood, Ray, and good luck this weekend, and we'll see you at Flamborough next weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Ray. Talk to you soon. Well, are they going to change the rules to the 300? Have you heard, Adam? Like maybe count some laps. I know it's tradition, so I don't know.
Tradition is fine, but so is entertainment. You know, just that balance. And would it have been an issue, Clinton, if the weather was good?
It was still a long night, man. You know.
Oh, absolutely. But if it was a beautiful night.
So you're saying if it was a beautiful day and there was no weather delays, I think that's how you get away with it year after year, right? Look, we got away with Dirt Weekend once in a while. You would have a stinker because the weather would come in and push it late into the day or move it to the spring or whatever had to happen. You know, it's kind of like we looked at I talked to Doug about his dad's race when we rained out Friday. And, you know, I said, well, here's a couple options. He said, I'd really like to be there. So Doug was able to tell me that July. And I said, that's okay. But we already have like the vintage cars coming in. That's a full night. We can't do 50 laps on top of that. I said, what if we cut it back for the same purse? And the thought process there, Adam, is look, at crate motors aren't getting any cheaper right now. We don't need to be beating the heck out of these cars on the Thunderstocks for 50 laps if 30 gets it done. You know, typically. So I know the teams probably a few of the teams would like the longer events, but hey, man, where we are with gas, tires, you know, engine costs right now, cutting it back a few laps to save it for the Gale and the Brock is probably what we're going to do this year.
And again, we're in the entertainment business. Does cutting from 50 to 30 cost you any entertainment value?
No. And I would say at the end of those races, at the end of those races, you're probably going to see 2 or 3 meaningful passes in 10 events. You know, everybody's found the pecking order by then. We're just counting down laps. It's rare that you have somebody racing up to steal it in the last 40, you know, in the last few laps when you're lap 46 to 48. Sure, it has happened, but it's typically drama you don't want. Guys running out, guys braking, guys getting flat tires. It's not the way you want guys to be winning races, really. You know? All right. We don't know what's going to happen in Quebec. Chaudière is going on. Since you're a pronunciation snob, give it to me. How do you say that?
You nailed it. Chaudière. Autodrome Chaudière.
God. He must want
Go F
something
yourself.
if I got it right.
Did I pronounce this right? Go F yourself.
There was something else you were snobby about in pronunciation the other day, and I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? 8,500 Coke.
Driver names are the only things I usually get snobbish about because I think it matters. Get it right. You know, our job is not that complex. Like I said to you before we came on the air, I listened to an announcer on Flow Racing introduce Billy Potch racing at Action Track USA. That's an icon of the sport. Billy Pouch.
Yeah, that is always cringe when someone comes in and you have a. It could easily happen with like a Johnny Gibson, although Johnny's too much of a pro to let that happen. But like that situation where you have a tour coming in and the tour announcer takes over the night and you have a few local guys racing with the tour and he's just butchering these names that the fans have heard for 30 years and know they're wrong. Ooh, you got to feel for the guy. You're like, man, you're swimming with sharks right now. Yeah.
Hey,
I've seen
you
it
know
happen
what
a
I
couple
noticed?
times.
Yep. Speaking of announcing, I was listening to the Indy 500 on Sirius XM radio. Almost all of their announcers on the radio broadcast are from Indiana. One of the
Oh, really?
corners was someone from Ohio. So you're like, they take it pretty seriously that you're a Hoosier. If you're going to be involved in that deal, I got thinking that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the pre-race show with Tony and Danica was pretty good, I thought. You know,
I thought so too. Why do they always need an anchor with a British accent?
I think when Lee Diffie went over to NASCAR, they felt they had to replace him with someone similar. I was thinking that same thing in all these big league racing, whether it be F1 or that kind of stuff. That always seems to be the British announcer. I thought he was good, but
For sure.
Let me ask another question since we're talking about it. The little pet peeves. Okay, I love the pre-race, but how do you feel about them bringing their kids out for the intros? I don't love it.
I don't dislike it. I think it's kind of Listen, let's put it this way. The Indy 500 is still a race you can die in.
That's the only reason I was going to get to that. That's the reason it's acceptable, but I don't love it. I would love to see the three drivers in that row up there loud and proud by themselves. When someone show up with 3-4 kids, it kind of muddles the image, but that's, I was thinking that too. It's like, well, this could be the last hug you do give your kids. So I guess this is the one race where you give it a pass, but I
get it. You watch those things, there was so much cool about that pre-race. The Indy 500, they get it right. Having Michael Strahan drive the pace car and talking to him, I thought the AI bit of him being a race car driver was a little bit weird, but by and large, it's just such a cool orchestrated event, all the way down to back home again in Indiana. Just some neat traditions.
I actually got on the Indy website in the morning to find out what time back home in Indiana was going to play, so I didn't miss it because I thought I missed it, making breakfast. And I'm like, no, okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's one of the last things they did before they fired up the engines too. But Indy was good. Alex Palou, how do you feel for Kyle Larson? Makes that mistake in the Indy, and then all that focus is on you for the rest of the day, and you're just like, oh man,
he made a mistake in both races.
I know,
right?
I know.
But to me, that we don't often enough get to see how hard racing is. When we watch races and critique things, these guys are the best of the best in the world. And it's hard to do. So at least when Kyle Larson is among the best race car drivers in the world, he made 2 mistakes on Sunday that cost him big time in those races.
And others.
And you could tell he felt horrible about the others getting involved. But that shows you how hard the sport is. I
think, I know you've driven most of the cars. I've been fortunate to hot lap almost everything we see come to Osh Weekend. From a crate, a 360, a late model, a mod light, a street stock. I mean, I've got to drive everything over the years. That is the biggest wake-up call when you realize, oh my God, we stand up in that tower and go, what a stupid move. Why do you put the car there? Until you actually do it yourself. and realize how good these guys really are, because the car and the track, they're kind of like nature doing their own thing, and you're just hanging on trying to guide it a little bit the way you want it to go. And the ones that can really master it, it shows. You know, guys like Westbrook, where you're like, man, this kid's a master of everything it takes to get it done. So no, I thought it was still one of the greatest days in racing. I love that it goes late into the night, even though we're Canadian. You know, it still feels like a holiday up here. So, you know, it was a good deal. Oh, we got a few minutes left to go.
Let's address Alvar's point. And of course, Alvar's, it was good to see you at the track. But you are mistaken, Alvars. And I learned this because Dexter Stacy pulled me aside. He said, you know, it's not Kahnawake, Quebec. It's Ganawagi.
Ganawagi.
It's just K's or G's when it comes to Indigenous. Okay, which is why I pronounce it Ohsweken Speedway. I think the three of us, between you, me, and Greg, all say it a little bit differently.
Well, I didn't know the logic of that K's or G's.
Have you ever heard
I see people say
it?
Yeah, it's Ohsweken. They say it really fast, kind of like Newfoundland. It goes by quick, and you don't really hear all the pronunciation. But I think the biggest thing I hear is Osh. It's not Osh, like Oshkosh. And I like to, my little thing is it's like Ohsweken, right? It's Ohsweken, not Ohsweken. So even though they say it that way, when you're writing it, it's OH, as in, oh my goodness, this place is awesome. Oh, I didn't know the cars were so fast. OHSW is how we go with that. But it is Ohsweken. This is pretty much how you're saying it, quick and fast. Oh, hungry. Ohsweken. All right, Burger Barn Videos of the Week. Burger Barn is open on the weekends, Thursday through Saturday. You can check them out at their traditional location right there beside Petro Plus Travel Stop. They've got the Burger Barn truck open. They've got the Pesky Penguin shaved ice there. Take a trip out, fill up with gas, fill up your bellies. It's Burger Barn time. Let's look at some Burger Barn Videos of the Week.
This is here, bud. Oh, yeah. We're pulling out the big guns tonight.
Stop this, Spencer. Stop this. Come back to me for a second. So, this is Chaz, the Chaz, showing up somewhere in Ohio. And we first heard rumors when everybody thought Bowman had traction control a couple years ago that teams were setting up fish finders to obstruct the traction control. And I thought it was just a wives' tale. And Chaz has been playing it up this week. This is him showing up with a fish detector a fish finder in the grandstand and a 12-volt battery in Ohio. Play it, Spencer.
These son of a bitches. We're getting her set up, guys. Oh, bang!
Where's Justin Peck?
Peck's off the track. The fish finder did not like the Fords. Oh. We already took a car out, guys. Oh my!
Here they come.
I just ruined a kid's dream. Oh my! We got you, David. We're coming for your ass tonight. Look at it go! Oh my God!
I don't really know what it means. I don't know what the results are, but I did hear that a team showed up at Ohsweken with fish finder the year Bowman was dominating to try and break up whatever they thought he had going on there. So I thought it was pretty wild.
Scientific theory there?
I don't know whether I don't think it's detecting it on the screen. My interpretation of it was disrupting the traction control signal and not letting it work. Or throwing off the ignition somehow. We'll do some more research this week on it, find out what it was supposed to be.
I would feel better if whoever was doing that was wearing a tinfoil helmet at the same time.
Well, it is the Chaz. So take that for what it's worth. All right, what else, Spencer? Okay, this went down track. Adam, just goes to show you. Before you race to the track, it's up to you drivers to find out what kind of fire protection they've got. Do they have foam? Do they have enough water? Look at this late model just burns to the ground. They've got no answer, and this thing is just going at them. You're losing your 50 grand, 60 grand race car at some places if you're not careful. The more water they pour on it, it doesn't seem to do anything.
No, wow.
No, now thankful the driver's okay, but just goes to show you,
I'm
ask
impressed
other
they had
questions.
that amount of water.
Yeah, now they got the water truck in there spraying it from the side, and still not out, but craziness. So be safe,
It's
stay
wild.
safe. Keep them coming, Spence.
TJ, they had struggled a little bit getting started. Look out, into the wall, heads up.
Okay, so this is Robert Ballou racing.
Blue.
And I don't know what happened. I think something broke in the front end. But the point of this item is, look at how many infield staff, photographers, support staff were all hanging around by that wall, not expecting this car to come that way. Just goes to show you got to keep your heads up everywhere around that racetrack.
Yep. Well, did you see the Indy 500 pit road official when Renus came into the pits and crashed into the wall because his brakes went funky, and the official had to jump up on the wall? I got thinking, what if the official wasn't looking towards turn 4?
Yeah, it could happen. Super easy.
Do you have to? Yeah. And I mean, it would stand to reason you should be looking towards turn 4 at what's coming, but who knows? Shit happens during a race. You get looking around, but there was a lot of sketchy moments in that Indy 500 of people on pit road getting hit.
Being in the infield at the tracks we go to, I probably have 3 oh shit moments a year. I mean, we've played some here. Me almost getting over by the sportsman. You got to keep your head up at all times. So stay safe out there. What else we got, Spencer? Oh, this is the little 500, Adam. Look at these pit stops. Just chaos. Sprint cars, guys not normally, used to doing pit stops. Just cars roaring in there. It's a wild scene. Just looks like mass chaos.
And are they waving on push vehicles?
I think so. I think they're also waving their drivers on where they are to stop because they don't have pit boards. It's just a crazy scene at the little 500. All right, what else?
One of the things people always ask about when they see my shop or see this
is a cool invention.
Is my
if you got a
funnel
shop.
rack. So this is a nice basic funnel rack, mobile. It's into a 5-gallon bucket, and then it's just got some 45-degree 2-inch PVC pipes and some cut pieces, and then it goes all the way down into there, and then I drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of the PVC.
That's kind of cool, right, Adam? So
here.
Your funnel is always dripping oil when you're done with it. So it's a funnel tree with all these receptacles up the pipe, and you stick the funnels in all the holes when you're done with them, and it all drips into one bucket at the bottom. Show it again because you look lost. It's kind of ingenious when you think about it.
Always ask about when they see my
Is it? Like, is this a problem? Like,
I think it is a problem.
you have a
Obviously,
rag on
you
the
don't
bottom
change
of the
your
funnel.
oil enough.
And then it's just got some.
Not enough to need a
All right,
flipping funnel tree.
come on, viewers, back me up. I thought that was brilliant. You obviously don't change your oil enough, so you wouldn't know. All right, what else?
Do better.
Weenie! Start your engines!
How excited was Spencer about the Weenie 500?
70,000 fans who are pumped up and ready. The thrill of waves. It's a slow getaway, but we have the Weenie 500 underway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
New York dog with a massive jump out to the lead as they all tuck single file. First through fifth, looking for that weenie toe.
The whole inside row got a slow start there. That really allowed that outside line to roll that momentum and head into the lead. Acceleration on these things impressive. 0 to 60 in about 25.
Did he say head into the weed?
Granted, they're going a little uphill now.
Wow. Good for them. Now, that's something you wouldn't have seen at Indianapolis. Like, they don't want things to affect the pomp and circumstance of that race. But
well, they did the day before.
Even still.
Townsend, not very aerodynamic. A crosswind could wreak havoc on the exit.
I really enjoy the
We're back to more.
New York dog who's opted to drive the shortest distance on this 2.5-mile oval, just hugging the apron to the low side. It really protects against any attack coming from Chicago dog.
Okay. Is there something else we're gonna see? Or Spencer just likes watching the hot dogs race?
Spencer just loves hot dogs.
Did you see, instead of Back Home in Indiana, what they sang before this one?
Yeah, the Oscar Mayer Wiener song.
Yeah, they sang the Oscar Mayer Wiener song with an opera singer. It was great. Hey, if they can make it work, we're all talking about Oscar Mayer Wieners, so it worked, right? Yeah, on Daytona or Talladega, just like a hot dog roller rolling them down the hill. What else we got, Spencer? That's it for videos. Okay. All right. Let's look at a couple pictures and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, it was. See, I've video weeks where it's all cheesy. And then, we slow down and now we got to pick it up. Okay, this company creates custom motorcycle helmets that look just like your actual face. How about this, Adam? Get all our sprint car drivers to get replicas of their faces so it looks like they're not wearing helmets in the car. I love it. What do you think?
That's creepy as hell. That's super creepy.
I think it's great. All right, what else? This is kind of classic. Race car season be like, Sunday rain, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, gorgeous. Friday through Sunday, rain again.
Feels like that sometimes.
Yeah, this time of year for sure. All right, what else? Oh, Weber Valley Speedway. We know Facebook Live is a big problem, right? So race fans are pouring in. Just remember that you must turn your cell phones in at the gate so they can cut down on illegal streams of the races. You get them back at the end of the night when you pay the $25 keeper's fee.
Man.
No more free streams.
Did you see the announcer ride-alongs?
Yes. I should have sent that in, yes.
Oh, man, that was priceless.
If there's anybody using AI in racing better than them, I don't know who it is, All right.
Well,
what else, Spencer?
While we bring up the next picture, I'm going to try to find that video and send it to Spencer real quick.
Ohsweken Speedway this Friday night. The Empire Super Sprints kick off their season along with the first big race for the 360s at Ohsweken, presented by Carrier Truck Centers and Total Rentals. It is trucker night, so if you're an AZ or DZ licensed driver, show your $5 off. Show your license for $5 off the grandstand admission. And it's the regular 4 classes: Empire Super Sprints, Crate Sprints, Thunderstocks, and Minis, with all the best from the ESS and Ohsweken Speedway 360s going head-to-head. What else, Spencer? Of course, Merrittville's got their big race coming up this weekend, too. DDL and Co. That's James Little. We know what he did for his dad's Ivan Little race last year, kicking in a bunch of extra money. They've increased, they doubled the Sportsman Weekly payout for this event. They've also kicked in a bunch of extra money for the other classes. Hats off to James and his staff and everything to do. That's at Merrittville this Saturday. Anything else? Oh, here's a picture of Stu. This is from, I think it was Weedsport or Fonda on the weekend. Look at that, Adam. Like, that's crazy. And that's the guy who won the race.
That's bad for a race car.
Yeah. That's a hell of a picture. That's awesome. Anything else,
Spencer? I just sent that video to your personal Facebook. If you're able to load that. Weber Valley has been busy.
Yeah, it's going to have to be next week, Bubs. You can't send stuff a minute. What was it, the announcer ride-alongs? Just search Weber Valley Speedway. They're all there. Unless you can filibuster for 5 minutes till it's ready. But
holy shit, Alvers agreed with me. It was bound to happen.
That helmet would be great. Yeah. Even creepier when you open the closet and the helmet's sitting there. Eek! I'd be putting that thing in the freezer everywhere I go, just piss people off. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. Oh, here it is. Got sound?
Still keep keeping it on the bottom. What a beast!
Yeah.
It on.
I don't know.
What a beast!
Jim Hanley would do it. Where's Hanley when we need him?
He's
I can see him
hanging around
hanging on the side of Hodgeshild's sprint car. Jimmy's all in the news today. Did you see that across Hamilton?
No.
He got
Jim
suspended
Hanley?
from council. Yeah. They suspended him from council with pay for something he posted on Facebook, and Jim doesn't care. He's going to fight it. Yeah, I was all over CHCH, the news today, but he's one of our guys.
And
I
Jim
said, well, his nickname is Job, right? Jobber. So I said, I'd still vote for you, buddy. And he said,
he is one of a kind.
Unless you're a knob, you'll vote for Job. That's his campaign slogan. Hey, he did a good job. Pied Piper and all those guys down to our party, making sure they had a great time, making sure they knew where they'd get some food and beer. We had a good one.
Too much left side weight.
So put that back up, Spencer, because we get it, but some people aren't that far on the inside. This is a comment from the Ride Along with the Announcer video. Ride along with announcer Jeff Hickey as he interviews Bang Banger winner Chad Maney Saturday night. And now Chad Maney's been disqualified for having too much left side weight. Bait him right in and steal the win away. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Man, we've been overtime. We're just going to have like a 7-minute show in a week to get Spencer all his time back because we've been stealing 15 minutes here and there from him.
I think it's unique. Let's have a 75-minute weekly show. 60 minutes.
But we have a hard time filling 60 on paper. Some weeks it happens organically. But I don't want to commit to an extra 15 minutes.
We were going to talk about that on the show too, weren't we? But why we do things the way we do them?
I was having those thoughts today, but I was trying to think, but nothing was happening about how we did talk about how, this isn't scripted. In 371 shows, we've probably pre-booked. Yeah, 271, sorry. We've probably booked in advance like 10 guests out of what would have to be 600 guest slots at least.
Yeah.
We try to have 3 guests a week.
And we don't do that just because we're lazy. In fact, we're not lazy. We do it because we want the hottest story and the latest story, and that can change. In fact, also tried to get Sean Chenoweth on because he's pretty relevant. I think it's exciting for the fans to see him make a resurgence in pro late models. But the point is, it costs us quite a bit of hype to not pre-book guests and get on the socials, but we think it gives the most current look. Oh, that's what the conversation
if you want to get on
was.
this show, go ahead.
We were going to start promoting at supper time. Who's tonight's guest going to be, and make it a big deal because that's about the window.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you want to get on this show and you're a driver, probably message me or Adam on a Tuesday after 2 p.m. and you're probably got a good shot at getting in there. It's whoever's top of mind Tuesday or what's good. Just so you know, our kind of mission is to get the top asphalt and dirt stories from what's current around, So, like, for example, last week we got Josh Dottie because he won the race on the weekend before. So different things like that. Yes, we always try and spread it out. We do try and get pavement racers and dirt racers on. We're trying to blend those lines if we can. One final question from Floyd Robbins. Will Glenn ever get the Super Dirt Series back after losing to COVID? I don't think we lost to COVID. I think the climate with Merrittville, with them being on the Wagner engine package and all the sail panels, we wouldn't get the support locally that we could have when it was 358s, the open 358s on the non-sail panels. So the climate has changed a little bit. Now, if you're going to have look how lucky we got with the 410s. a lot of our guys stepped up and ran with them. I don't feel we would get a lot of the Merrittville cars coming over. We'd probably end up with 16 to 18 Super Dirt Car Series big blocks, and both the series and Oshwika would end up with egg on our face. So it's not for lack of trying. It's in the discussion every single offseason. And you know what I got my heart set on, Adam? A Sportsman Nationals. I think we could do a big 60, 70 car Sportsman Nationals at Oshweekend with a sliding paint payout scale. I'm going to put that on the list next week. Let's talk about this at length next week because I think we could hash it out. If you had, 40 cars, make it a $5,000 to win, 50 cars, $6,000 to win, 60 cars, $7,000 to win over, because they're doing it at like places like Devil's Bowl and getting 100 cars.
Yeah. Because I don't mind the thought of you having to do extra work, I think we should start doing some of these brainstorms as PowerPoint slideshows. Because then you could transfer it straight to the show. Because I know you work from spreadsheets, but just translate that to a PowerPoint. So you got slide, and as you talk, we could go through it and show your brilliance in impressive presentation fashion.
Look at you trying to kiss my ass to get me to do more homework. Stick it, bud. I'm getting out of here. I appreciate you. Spencer, we'll see you Friday,
I'm
buddy.
already gone.
What's up? That's the best song by the Eagles, my favorite band. Already gone. See you guys. Ciao.